on and off here. Only this machine has a different button for the light. All of the other machines should automatically turn on when you turn on the machine here. You have your 2 spools of thread here. One is gonna be for threading. Honestly, you could probably use this to thread too, but you wanna make sure it goes up through this little stand up here. Oops, that's gonna cause a problem. You wanna make sure it goes through here, and that just kinda helps so that the thread glides nicely. Like if it's coming from here, it's just gonna get caught. So you wanna make sure it comes up first, comes down. I'll show you guys how to do this too, the threading the bobbin. So the threading part is on this side of the machine. And you go to your left, you have your machine here. You also, your spool, you want it to come up, come down through this little tension hoop. So again, it's very specific how to thread it. Actually, let me show you guys right now. So comes up, and you want it to come through from the back, forward through this hole at the bottom. And then looped from the left side, so go clockwise through this little tension wheel here. And then pull it through. Right here, there's a little bar with 2 holes. You're gonna wanna go from right to left. So right to left through the top hole, bring your thread back, and then right to left. And then from there, you're gonna go down. There's a little hook here. You wanna make sure it's hooked on, okay? Hooked on. There's another tension wheel here you're gonna go through. And this is the part that a lot of students miss the very first time. You wanna bring it in, pull it in so that it's caught in the tension loop. Otherwise, if you don't pull it tightly, it's kind of just sitting loosely there. You're gonna have the wrong tension when you sew. So pull it in so that it's nice and caught in there. And then there's another thinner hook here. You're gonna loop it through, down, and yet another hook to go under. And then there's this little guy here that kind of moves up and down with the machine. Just find a good place for you to be able to thread. And then again, you're going from right to left. So right to left, pull it out. Another hook here. For the hooks, you want to make sure it's actually hooked in, okay? You don't want it to sit loosely out here. You want to make sure that it's locked in. This just helps it from like moving side to side and getting caught anywhere else. Now you go down here to the needle. It's kind of hidden, it's hard to see. It's another hook that's a little bit more spirally, I guess. Loop it through here, and then now you go through the needle. The needle orientation is also very important. So if you look closely and you kind of feel it, make sure you don't poke yourself. There's a little groove on the needle. You want to make sure that groove is facing towards the machine. Okay? All right. So now we go through the top part of the needle hole.
Make sure your foot is off the pedal.
Yes, actually, you know what? It's a very good idea.
Probably turn the machine off.
Good habit. Turn off the machine. Take your feet away, and then do your threading so that you're not accidentally like in the needle space. Okay, so then this is the part where I always forget. Don't know whether it goes left to right or right to left.
Left to right.
Yeah.
It's left to right, right? Because I remember being confused because when I was taught, it was like everything goes from right to left, and then when it gets to the bottom, it's left to right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks, guys. So just at the needle, it goes left to right. You got to be very careful. I can't believe I'm an old lady. It's so hard to see. Okay, this is how you thread it. And then you have your bobbin and bobbin case. So the bobbin itself has a few things, which if you don't mess with it, you're not gonna have any issues. There are tiny screws here that are the tension for the actual bobbin. So I think it should already be said, if you find that your tension when you're stitching is either too tight or too loose, and everything here seems to be working fine, it might be your bobbin. So if you have any issues, any concerns, you can let me know, but usually this should already be set. You don't need to mess with it. You have a little pole here, and this is to help lock the actual spool in here. So when you pull it out, you can slide it in.
Is there a certain way that it needs to be spinning?
Yes. So when you put it in, you want to make sure the thread is pulling, yes, counterclockwise. Pulling counterclockwise. Put it on your bobbin while holding this, and the thread itself is going to go through a little slit on the actual bobbin, and then you're going to pull it through another little hook here. It's very, very tiny, so when you pull it, it's going to go counterclockwise.
Okay.
Yeah, and because you released this, it locks it in place.
I like to think it's moving towards you, right? Sometimes counterclockwise and clockwise kind of like scramble in my brain. But so if you're holding the bobbin and you're pulling the thread, it should be winding towards you or away from you?
Oh, you mean like if you hold it like this?
Yeah. Once it's in there.
It pulls, and you're saying
If
it
you're
pulls.
looking at it, then it's winding towards you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. If that helps you, if that analogy helps you, it makes sense for me to do it like this, and you're staring at it and it goes clockwise. But
Gotcha.
to your
Okay.
point, if you hold it like this and you pull it, yeah, it's coming towards you. So sorry, this little lever here, actually, when you pull it is when you lock it. It doesn't go. If you release it, it's gonna fall. So that's the difference. And then we can put it in our machine, in our bobbin area. So pull this out to lock in place. There's a little cover here that you can just pull off, or you can just bend down and try to see it. But you can kind of feel and take a glance. There's a little bar where you just kind of click this into. And when you hold it so that the latch opens away from you, or at you?
Away.
Away.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Sure. Away from you. And the opening is facing top, because this is where the needles are going to go through. So you don't want it going this way because it's going to puncture here. Okay, open. This is up. And kind of just feel your way in here until it clicks. And when it clicks, you shouldn't be able to move it until you pull the lever. Okay, it's in place now, but we need to pull the thread up. So we're going to use our needle and this wheel to hand crank until we catch the bobbin. And here it goes, pretty easy, pretty straightforward. There was something about the bobbin. Oh, that becomes, I mean, it's more important when I do the winding, but I'll show you when I get to that point.
Are these kind of like singers?
No. Singers.
Okay, that's what I was. Okay, cool. That's all.
The Singer's machine that I have, the bobbin faces up, so it's kind of slightly
it's
different.
the really old ones. I don't know. I took a seminar, first year seminar on Singer featherweights, and so that's my reference for any sort of more industrial looking machine.
I've never used the Singer. I've never used those machines,
Okay.
so I can't say.
Okay.
Okay, so both needles are up. You're ready to go. You turn your machine on, turn your lights on, and you're good to go. When you're stitching, just make sure you have all of your supplies nearby, so you're not scrambling, trying to get all your stuff. So I like to have my tweezers, my small scissors, pins, and whatever I'm working on right in front of me. This right here is a wheel that determines the stitch length. Stitch length. It's usually set in between 2 and 3. The bigger you go, the bigger the stitch length. The smaller you go, the smaller the stitch length. So, and any smaller than 2, I find that it kind of gathers the material a little bit. So I always like to work in between 2 and 3. When you move any higher than 3, between 4 or 5, this is when you do your, oh my God, what's the term?
Basting.
Basting stitch. So between 4 and 5 are going to be your basting stitch lengths, but just typical stitching you want to do in between 2 and 3. All right, so I think we're ready to sew. Let's go ahead and do the first one, which is the straight stitch. We got our fabric, making sure that the right sides are facing up. We're going to face them to each other. And, oh, this is a different size.
Sides to each other.
Right sides to each other? So your grain line is marked, and that's going to tell us that this is the front side of the fabric or the outside of the fabric. So you're going to put your two fronts facing each other, and the seam allowance for this is going to be 1/2 inch. So if you look at your machine, there's little markers here that will tell you what the seam allowance is. To me, I always just reference this. All you have to do is line up your edge of your fabric to that indicator there, and that is your seam allowance. The needle automatically is in a placement for that seam allowance. So you have 1/4 inch, you have 1/2 inch, and you can go bigger up until 1 1/4 inch. If you're not comfortable using this to guide your seam allowance, what I recommend is you take paper or pencil and just mark out your seam allowance, mark out your stitch line so that you can just follow along that stitch. For me, I'm just gonna use this guideline. Sorry, actually, I just realized, do you guys want me to show you how to do this one? This one is pretty straightforward. Yeah, you want me to do this one? Okay.
Are you stitching through the paper?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're okay.
Yes, yeah. So you're gonna pin it together, and your so I did this wrong. The grain line is on the other side, but the grain line should really be on the front side so that you can see. I'm just gonna do one stitch here to show you. It's perfectly okay. I usually don't recommend stitching on paper just because you can damage the needles like that. But I mean, it's a Juki. It's pretty heavy duty. That doesn't mean you just like go and stitch whatever. Okay, you have to make sure it's compatible with the machine. Okay, so to stitch, you're gonna first do a small stitch, and then you're gonna do a back tack. This little bar here is to do a back tack, which just reverses the stitching so that you can do a knot on your stitch and it doesn't unravel. So I'm just gonna stitch like maybe like four stitching, and then stop, make sure my needles are in, push this down, and then go backwards till the edge, and then you can release and keep moving forward. Do all the way through. When you get, oops, try your best to be aligned. Oh, you guys, I just spoke to myself. Be very careful.
With your pins.
With the pins, my goodness. No, it's the needles, the pins that I have holding it together. I'm gonna stick it through. Okay. So you're gonna stitch all the way to the end, and then you're gonna do another back tack. For back tacks, I usually just do 1/2 inch. That's enough for me. And then you're gonna pull it out. There's this bottom. Does anybody have tissue? Actually, I don't want to drip myself.
Let me get you a Band-Aid.
Yeah, first aid